that? Hi, Paula. Missy Hoblock here. I guess we're going to do some baking today. We're going to go ahead and do an old family favorite of mine, my Grandma Betty's homemade Twinky cupcakes. We're going to go ahead and get started with our wet ingredients. We're going to go ahead and use 2 fresh eggs, next we're going to go ahead and use 1 cup of milk, and I like to use whole milk in this recipe. And then we're going to go ahead and do a 1/2 cup of vegetable oil and 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla. So we're going to go ahead and set this off to the side, and we're going to go ahead and combine all of our dry ingredients, in which we're going to go ahead and add to that bowl with all of our wet ingredients. We're going to use 1 3/4 cups of all-purpose flour, and then we're going to go ahead and use 1 1/2 teaspoons of baking soda, 1 1/2 teaspoons of baking powder. That's going to give our cake mix a nice little rise. Next, we're going to go ahead and throw in 1 teaspoon of salt. And I also boiled ahead of time 1 cup of water. And we're going to actually add that when we combine the 2 ingredients together. So we're going to go ahead and blend our wet ingredients first. And then we're going to go ahead and add our dry ingredients to our wet mix slowly. You want to kind of get that worked in. And a 3/4 cup of Hershy cocoa. Oops. And a few cups of sugar. We're going to add that gradually as well. Next, in with our cup of hot boiling water. It smells so good. All this chocolate makes me think about when my grandma used to make these. The whole house would smell like chocolate cupcakes. Okay, we've almost got it there. Alright. So we're going to go ahead and use the little spatula here, get everything all mixed together. See? It's a little runny, but that's okay. We're going to have really light, very fluffy, moist cupcakes once we're all done with this. I've already gone ahead and preheated the oven to 350 degrees. So what we're going to go ahead and do next is we're going to go ahead and fill our cupcake pan. We'll move this out of the way. Okay, now we're ready to pour our batter into our lined cupcake pan. We're going to go ahead and fill these about 2/3 of the way full. These are so fabulous all the time. I like to make them all throughout the year. We're going to go ahead and finish these up. Oops. Thank heavens for spatulas, eh? And then once we get these all filled up, we're going to go ahead and get them in the oven. And like I said earlier, we're going to bake them at 350 degrees for about 22 to 25 minutes. Mid-shelf. Go ahead and work on our Philadelphia cream cheese filling. This stuff is great. So what we're going to need is 1.5 blocks of Philadelphia cream cheese. I'm going to go ahead and drop this right in here. And alrighty. And then we are actually going to use an 8-ounce container of sour cream, plain old sour cream. Get that in there. It's going to give it a really good tang. It kind of adds a little zip and zing to it with all that rich chocolate cupcake. We're going to go ahead and mix this slowly. And what we're going to do is just cream it and combine it really well. And then we're going to start to add our powdered sugar a little bit at a time. You do want to watch the consistency of this. If you ever find that it just gets a little too thick, you can always add a teaspoon or so of a little bit of milk. This smells so rich and creamy here. Really well. We'll go ahead and scrape everything from the sides. Just pick up a little bit of that extra powdered sugar. It kind of got flung around a little bit. And usually, typically, what you want to do is you can actually refrigerate this for a few minutes. It kind of gets thick, but even at this stage, it tastes great. You can still save time if you have company coming over and you're making up a tray of these, that you can just put them all together and actually have them sitting in the refrigerator and ready. So what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and take your little cupcake. I always like to have control over my little knife here. And what I do is I just go around the circumference of the top of the cupcake and I just simply lift it out. You kind of end up with a little cone. And you just kind of keep doing that with all your cupcakes. One thing that's really cool about making your own homemade from scratch cake mix, you know, these days and times is more economical, where you can get like 30 of these cupcakes out of one batter. So we'll do a couple of these for you. And then actually what I tend to do is we just do little dollops. Probably use a spoon, make it a little neater, cleaner. And then what you do is you just place your little top back on there. These are really rich. You're definitely going to need coffee or milk after this. Definitely to cut all that chocolate and that cream. Like I said, we'll just do a couple of these for you just so you get the gist of it. And then what I like to do is just use a simple little hand sieve and lightly dust your cupcakes with a little bit of powdered sugar. And these are just absolutely fabulous. And I hope that you might be interested in my recipe. And thanks a lot to Philadelphia Cream Cheese. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.